Welcome to Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Turney.
In a total example of cranking your wishful thinking perk to the max, fans and fan sites everywhere are circulating new rumors that Elder Scrolls 6 could be coming as soon as this fall. These things, they tend to happen when news is kind of slow.
In this utopian game development scenario, Bethesda would reveal the game at E3 this summer with a surprise release date of November 2016. And while we're being incredibly optimistic, let's just add that it'll carry over your Skyrim save, be bug-free, and have free season passes for life.
It can't be developed by Bethesda then. According to these rumors, there is mounting evidence that this might be the case.
But let's be clear, these are rumors. Bethesda is practicing its usual stealth approach and hasn't said anything official.
Just looking for the arrow in my back. No, not in the knee.
I know.
God damn it.
I literally play that back because I rolled my eyes and shook my head.
First off, the fan-spawned rumors argue that Bethesda did the same thing with Fallout 4 at last year's E3. If you'll recall, the developer delighted Vault Dwellers everywhere with both a reveal of Fallout 4 as well as its launch date. And in an unusual move for video games these days, the game released the same year it was unveiled.
We'd been hoping at Max for years now, thanks to all those hoaxes and trademarks and not trademarks and everything else.
That was the worst.
Yes.
Last year was the first time Bethesda held its own E3 press event, and they used it to make a huge Fallout-shaped splash. Since Bethesda recently announced they're doing their own event again this year, fans are making all kinds of assumptions that this year will operate at the same level.
I need some of whatever these people drink or eat that makes them so optimistic. We're so beaten down. Bethesda only has a few major properties, Fallout and Elder Scrolls being the biggest ones, and there was a 4-year gap between the most recent releases of those two franchises. Skyrim was 2011 and Fallout 4 was last year, so Elder Scrolls 6, 2019?
Ow, that hurts.
Yeah.
Maybe not though. The rumors are approaching the math of this a little bit differently. They're citing that it's been nearly 5 years since Skyrim came out, and there was a 5-year gap between Oblivion and Skyrim, and there was a 4-year gap between Morrowind and Oblivion, I think. So they're about due for the next game any day now, just conveniently forgetting Elder Scrolls Online. And since Bethesda's working on at least 3 new games, one's gotta be Elder Scrolls 6, right? It's gotta be!
Yeah, this 3 new games thing, by the way, comes courtesy of Bethesda executive producer Todd Howard's recent announcement that Bethesda is working on some entirely new stuff. Speaking to VentureBeat last month, he said, "We are doing 3 longer-term projects. We'll talk about them in the future. They are different from anything we have done before, while also being a Bethesda-style game."
We're doing something we've never done before. Time to announce the game we've literally done 5 other times.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We do get it, fellow Elder Scrolls junkies. You're jonesing really hard to get back in the world of Tamriel, and maybe Argus the Bulwark's pants, but the probability of jumping into another Elder Scrolls game anytime soon really doesn't seem very high.
Not to frustra all your hopes and dreams of battling dragons and glitches come Christmas, but there's actually a lot more evidence against this idea. Remember, it was only last year that people swore up and down that Elder Scrolls 6 had leapfrogged Fallout 4 in development, and that was going to be the game that Bethesda announced at E3. Didn't really work out like that.
Yeah, so let's run down the arguments against. For one, Bethesda having its own press event similar to last year's doesn't necessarily mean that they have a game coming out this year. A huge Fallout 4 unveiling and introduction made perfect sense for them to create their own press event for the very first time. If you're gonna start something like that, you want to do it with a bang.
Another event is hardly confirmation we'll get a full frontal look at another Elder Scrolls game. What's more likely is that we'll see any number of other projects, like DLC from Fallout 4, maybe a reveal of one of those other crazy projects they've talked about. It would be cool to see a new original IP from them. Who knows? Even Fallout Shelter is on the table at this point.
Yeah, Fallout Shelter is actually a big reason why Bethesda can continue to take its time between its big franchises. The mobile experiment netted them $5.1 million in its first 2 weeks alone, which spurred them to increase their mobile development for other sources of revenue. They even opened up a studio on Montreal as a result. And, I mean, come on, who doesn't love mobile games?
Boy howdy, all the cat buttholes can have my money.
Yes.
Another argument, Bethesda Game Studios is a subsidiary of Bethesda Softworks and ZeniMax, which also have a number of other franchises that we haven't heard from for a bit. It's entirely possible they might make an appearance to share the stage with Bethesda. Arcane Studios Dishonored, in particular, seems like the prime candidate for a big E3 reveal with a possible release date later this year, since that one was already announced last year.
Yeah, we haven't really heard much else since that announcement, have we? I mean,
nope.
Yeah, at all.
It was a cool announcement, though.
Yeah, rat swarms everywhere. I wouldn't say it's impossible we won't see anything of the next Elder Scrolls. We can at least hope for an announcement, but sneaking a release in 2016 seems pretty unlikely, especially if they have their hands full with releasing Dishonored What one's it?
We need a rat simulator. To be fair, Dishonored is developed by Arcane, which is a totally different studio, but even within Bethesda Game Studios, Fallout and Elder Scrolls are two of their biggest projects. They'd have had to be incredibly efficient to turn around two of their biggest titles in consecutive years, and seeing as how they weren't in any rush to get another Fallout game out, same is probably true of Elder Scrolls.
Or unless you want to pull in Far Cry Primal and just copy-paste a bunch of geography, which, you know, we definitely don't want to see. It is doubtful, though, and Bethesda probably isn't capable of turning any big game around that quickly. It's a relatively small studio for one that produces such huge titles. Last year, Todd Howard talked to The Guardian about how basically the same 100-man team developed both Skyrim and Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 before those.
That's like the development dream team. Yeah. Considering how small the team is and how it's been 100% focused on Fallout 4 and probably it's not even fully announced yet line of DLC, it should be no surprise that Bethesda marketing exec Pete Hines said we wouldn't see another Elder Scrolls for a long time. Speaking to DualShockers in the fall, he said the Elder Scrolls game Bethesda will be talking about for a while is going to be Elder Scrolls Online.
That's unfortunate. That's very sad because no one's talking about it at all except for them, and most people don't even remember it exists.
I forget it exists all the time. Yeah. So even a trailer this year would be great, but we won't hold our breath.
Just like Fallout 4, Bethesda has actually managed to keep much of Elder Scrolls 6 under wraps. All we have right now about the game is speculation that it's going to take place in Argonia, another one of the 9 regions in Tamriel, which seems like it'd be lower on the priority totem pole, but yeah, it's anybody's guess.
Like, everybody's going nuts about Argonia, but really, nerd time. I feel like Somerset Isles would be rad, or Valenwood if you want to explore more of the mainland instead. First of all, Argonia isn't even the right name for Black Marsh, and that rumor's been around for so many years, everyone thought it'd be announced at PAX 2014 for release this month. I wish, but no.
Yes, what you said. Either Bethesda is super awesome at keeping secrets, which is possible.
They're pretty good at it.
They're very good. They did a great job with Fallout 4. Or it could be that they're just not that far into development on Elder Scrolls 6 yet.
Sorry to be buzzkill, hopeful gamers, but Elder Scrolls 6 probably a bit further away than we'd like. But hey, anything is possible at E3. It's where all hopes and dreams come true before we see what the games are actually like at release. So we could always be just as surprised as anyone else. If there's anything I'd like to be wrong about, it's this.
Yeah, don't worry. If we're wrong about it, we'll be partying with you guys, not feeling bad about thinking it wasn't gonna happen. So what do you guys think of the likelihood of an Elder Scrolls 6 arriving later in 2016? Let us know in the comments.
If you want more of your dreams destroyed, we can do that. All you have to do is like this video and subscribe to the know.
And while we're being incredibly optimistic, let's just carry it over to the Skyrim tree. You know, it'll be like bug.
Nope, back up.
Tried to save it.
They might make an appearance to share the stage with, but
You're a nerd. You say nerd things.
You know, well, here's the thing, is like they trademarked Redguard. They renewed a trademark right after Skyrim was released. Redguard, also not the name of a place. That's like one of the groups of people. They're up in High Castle or some shit. I don't even know. But Argonia, really, it's not even a place. It's just some shitty fake box art with a wolf on it. Why a wolf? They're not the people then in the Black Marsh. It's the Argonians. They're lizards. Come on.